Hello everyone, this is Shane R. Monroe with Review Lagoon. I'm going to be taking a look at the Ouya, which is a small Android-based gaming device, controller, and I currently have plugged in my RAV power drive, which is basically just a USB drive. So we're going to go ahead and take you on a tour of what the Ouya is all about, but more importantly, what you can do with it that's not normally part of the equation. I figured we'd start from powering on the unit so you can see what a full boot cycle looks like. Now the Ouya will go to sleep on its own, or once you tap the button once it'll put it into sort of a hibernate mode. But this is a full boot from front to back, so you get an idea. Now this has been heavily modified, and we're going to talk about the modifications that have been made to the operating system. As you can see, it's got sort of an Android little boot animation. Nice little intro, and you're given the main menu. Here's the controller. Push the button in the middle, and it will go ahead and sync up. At that point in time, you're all set. Now, as you can tell, it looks like any other sort of 10-foot navigation screen. Anything that you have installed, that you've purchased or downloaded, you can access from here. You can discover or download other titles. Now the best part about this is pretty much everything in here you can download and for free. Now most of them are trials, or they time out, or they have other things about them. They'll have in-app purchases and that sort of thing. You can search, but as you can see, there's quite a bit in here. If you want to go into, like, say, genres, say you wanted to look at something like retro stuff, right? So it'll filter out down the retro stuff. As you can see, there are some emulators already here and ready to roll. Now this is on Wi-Fi. If it's wired up, everything runs a little bit faster. The Wi-Fi is a little bit slower, of course. Alright, so if we were to go back and go to play, we could actually grab and play one of these guys. Nimble Quest is one of my favorite games. You know, the screen says double tap the U to go back. Now you'll notice a lot of these have special Ouya buttons that have been mapped into the parts of the game that take over the touch screen, which is great. So in this game, I've reviewed this game before, so if this looks interesting to you, you'll want to check out my review at greenrobotgamer.com. But as you can see, it works just fine. It used to be a swipe to control game, and now, of course, they've mapped it out to the Ouya controller. I'm going to say Wii U controller. How about that? And double tapping the U will indeed jump you back to the menu, so that's pretty cool. Shows the last thing you played, some other stuff, you know, their little advertisement stuff. And so once you're in there, you know, you can go in and look at pictures. I haven't seen anything with videos though. I think that was kind of a missed opportunity. Even if you go into like more info. So we'll go in and we'll play. Now I've logged in and I have contributed to some Kickstarter campaigns. Now you'll notice again, if you're used to seeing this game on your tablet or your phone, that it shows a little O down there. That's the O button on the controller. Now the nice thing is I did Kickstarters for both Terminator 2 and Star Trek. So these are both available to me even on the Ouya. However, the gajillion other tables I've purchased will have to be purchased again. But of course there are free versions to keep you busy. So we'll cancel. Alright, so let's take a look here. Terminator just came out. If you don't have the table already, it'll grab it. Now, unlike the actual Pinball Arcade on Android, this actually maps out the flippers to a couple of buttons as well as nudges, which I don't understand why we cannot get Pinball Arcade that actually has real controllers mapped to it on Android. Seems kind of silly. But as you can see, everything's mapped here very nicely.
Judgment Day.
And there's several different things you can do here. Now you cannot remap the flippers, and you have to use the L2 and R2 button, which are actually analog buttons, which do not feel very well for this game. They don't feel well for pinball in general. But as you can see, you can zoom in if you want. You can change camera angles with a single button. Very convenient. Like I said, if you could remap those buttons, you tilt with, let's see, can't remember how you tilt. I quit. Anyway, so there you go. It gives you a good idea. And of course, double tapping the U takes you right back into here. So then this is if you're playing it legit, right? Now, these are all legit titles. Take a look at this. This is kind of nice. This is a media center. And this allows you to access, if you've got a lot of video or music files on your network, you can get access to all this stuff, right? I've got tons of shows on my discs. This is all my kids' stuff, right? So I've got all this stuff available, and you can stream it right in. And that's pretty dang handy. Very cool. Double hit the U. And back out we go. Very cool. Now, if you're willing to make some minor adjustments software-wise, you can extend the capabilities. Now, there's a couple ways to do this. You can either sideload software, which will put stuff in here for you, or you can actually go through the process of installing the Google Play Store, and at which point you can play games that require license checks. You can play anything that you've already purchased. Now, I'll let you know that the compatibility rate of Google Play games to Ouya is probably somewhere around 50%. I tried a handful of things. I tried Space Ace. I tried Shine Runner, some of my favorites, and they do not function properly. Of course, all due to controls. However, you can see that I can go into the Play Store and do what I need to do. Now, the Ouya the Ouya controller does have a trackpad on it, so you can navigate around apps that require that sort of thing. And all the stuff that you've purchased and installed are available here, right? So if I wanted to put Asphalt 8 on here and try it out, I could do so, right? And of course, again, double tap and you're back. Now, what does this actually have? What do you actually have to do to get that? First thing you do is you do a root my Ouya. You sideload this little app. You run it, and it roots it. Once it's rooted, you get Super User. Super User will allow you to run any sort of root level applications, which you'll have to install the exposed installer framework. The exposed framework is what gets you this guy, the mod collection. So it's sort of a three-part deal. Once you're here, you can install the store, you can preserve Super User, you can disable auto update, do some overscan fixing, and anything else that they come up with. And you can, once you've installed recovery, you can reboot to recovery. So you can do cool stuff like install CM10 or whatever you might want to do on here. Me, I'm looking for the hybrid solution. I want the Google Play Store, but I want all the Ouya stuff still there as well. So once again, for those of you wondering about the process, root, exposed framework, mod collection for Ouya. Poof, that's the trifecta. Once you're done with that, you've got access to the store and pretty much whatever you need to do. All right, so for me, I was looking for emulation, right? Now, there are a lot of I'm a big fan of the .emu emulators. You can see I've got a lot of them side-loaded or installed from the store here. Now, you're probably saying, well, wait a minute, didn't I just see that back here? Couldn't I just go in here and grab them from here? I don't know if there are any restrictions to the ones that are in the Ouya store or not. So I went ahead and loaded mine right out of the Google Play Store, so I'm good to go. So what do I got installed on here? What am I going to show you today? I'm going to show you a handful of emulators, how they look, how they work. Many of them are Ouya ready. In other words, they understand the Ouya controller. Well, let's just get started. We'll take you on a trip. We'll start with the Atari 2600 emulator. Now, all of the ROMs, everything that I'm accessing is on this little flash drive, right? On this external hard drive. So don't think that this is all loaded on the internal memory of the Ouya, because the internal memory is fairly small, but obviously it's extensible enough. You plug in a USB drive and you're good to go. Now, I've already mapped everything. You'll have to map to the USB drive, as you can see in the top. But I've already mapped this, so let's take a look at something that everybody's seen before. Let's see, if I go backwards, this is something everybody's seen before, right? And guess what? It's still just as bad as you remembered it. Try this again here. Yeah, it's horrible, right? But it's the 2600 and it's properly emulated, so life is good. That was quick. Alright, and the middle button will take you back to the menu. This is all built into the .emu emulators, which is very cool. And then it also has save states and all that good stuff. So it's exactly what you would hope for. Alright, so, and again, so what you're going to ask now is, does that double Ouya button work from anything? Does it work for anything? Oh, yep, sure does. So now we're done with the 2600. We're ready to move on for something a little more complicated. Now, this one I did not map out, so I'm going to have to go ahead and map myself out to the USB drive, keep the ROM sets, go to Commodore 64, and I can find something that everybody recognizes from the Commodore 64 in here somewhere, surely. Let's see. Okay, come on. Gotta be something in here that everybody knows. What about, let's see. How about Bruce Lee? Everybody knows Bruce Lee. Yeah. Well, see, now I didn't get this one set up right for the thing. So I would have to go in and do some setting up for this particular emulator. Don't worry, the other ones are set up right. C64 one's just a little bit weird. There's a browser. Now, this is something I thought was kind of interesting. Recently, there was a drastic emulator release. This is for the Nintendo DS. Absolutely crazy. So literally, oops, I don't know what I just did. You have to use the trackpad, of course. All right, we'll nip down to the USB drive. A couple ROM images. Let's hop into Super Mario Brothers. Now, here's the cool part. This emulator allows you to do all sorts of stuff. So you can go in here and you can do side-by-side screens. For example, if you want the full effect, you can also do some other things. But let's go ahead and just start this guy up. Alright, and for a lot of these games that don't use the touch screen at all, you can just simply go into the menu and shut it off and focus on a single screen and stretch it or use proper proportions. See, there's a little bit of glitching going on, a little flickering. There we go. So now we're full screen. And unfortunately, we have to go through this little intro each time. As you can see, it runs nice and fast. And I've got everything. Turn the sound up a little bit since my rats are running on their wheel. And here we go. Back here. As you can see, it works pretty darn well. Nintendo probably would not be very happy with this. Anyway, that's drastic. So yes, it can play very well. Game Boy Advance stuff, of course. Again, I got a handful of things on here. We'll stick with what people like to see. Nice little crack screens. Okay. So you can... Mario Brother. Oops, I'm getting back. Sorry. And there you go. Okay. So anyway, you get the idea. Alright, we'll save MAME for later. A lot of people like to see NES, recent games, make it easy. As you can see, it's exactly what you would hope it would be. Alright, get the idea. Alright. Continuing our quest. How about Mega Drive or Sega Genesis? This is Mortal Kombat 2. As you can see, it works just fine. But something I thought would be interesting to show you is Sega CD performance. This is Dragon's Lair. Avid Game already continued in progress. Crap. But CD stuff works just fine too. Alright, back we go. I didn't set up everything. I got PCMU here. Galaga 90's a must-have. One of my favorite games. As you can see, it works great. What else do I have already set up? Alright, well let's move on to MAME. You see there's two versions of MAME here. MAME for All is great because it's based on one of the early versions of MAME, so it requires a little less oomph, but there's a lot of things that are broken, a lot of sound like in the Nintendo games that are broken. But I've also already got this all nice and set up. So let's see here. As you can see, I've got an extensive list. Right, so it works just like any other version of MAME you might have seen. Let's see, what's a good straight-up game? How about Pac-Man? Pac-Man's always fun. Well, let's see here. And it's pure emulation, folks, just like you'd hope. Sure beats the 2600 version, doesn't it? There you go. Alright. Now, unfortunately, this one isn't really designed to be done around the Ouya. However, I do have some... Every now and then you get some of that flicker like that. Alright, so that's sort of how that works. So you're probably wondering how some of the heavy hitter games play, right? That's one of the things that everybody wants to know when you're on a new system is how does a really, really tight game, a heavy game that uses a lot of power, how does that play? Well, we're going to get out of here, and we're going to go to MAME for Droid Reloaded, which uses the more recent version of MAME. And we're going to take a look at a couple of the heavier games. Now, for those of you who know Ninja Warriors, you know that's a very heavy game. And I want you to see just how impressive it is on the Ouya. And I hear my wash is done. The music's good on this one. We can turn this up a little bit. As you can see, it's very good. Frame rate's good, music's solid. So it's pretty good, right? Alright. So that's one example. What about something else heavy? Like, say, Narc. Narc's heavy. You can already tell by how fast it's getting through here. Now, there's a sound glitch with Narc, which is too bad. I don't know if it's a bad ROM set or whatever. But yeah, you can get to the main stuff from in there. I just want you to see how well this thing performs. It's pretty impressive.
Attention, Narc 1.
Minus the sound problems.
Night, man.
511 in progress. Let's go.
I don't know what that sound is. It makes me crazy. Look how well it runs. Get a nice big patch of that. See? It's impressive, right? Anyway, I can only stand the sound for so long. Alright, well there you have that. But what about something like Stun Runner? Now, Stun Runner just can't be fixed, people. Yeah, welcome to Stun Runner. Alright. However, you'll find that most of the Neo Geo games, all that good stuff, work great. Even the heavier games like Dungeons and Dragons play great.
Welcome to the deep world. Dungeons and Dragons.
Been a while. Oops, wrong button. Dang it. There we go. Alright, good enough for you, right? Alright, so there you have it. There's some high-end stuff with MAME. So what else do I want? What else do I want to show you? A lot of people want to know what it's like emulating higher up systems. Well, let's take a look. This is PlayStation 1 emulation. I have at least one decent game on here. I don't know why it's being a pig. It's being a pill. I had this going earlier. Let's see here. Like I said, not everything is as... Let's see something here. Well, let's try this. There we go.
Start your engines, or Sony Computer Entertainment America production.
And this is Crash Team Racing, for those not familiar with it. PlayStation 1 title.
Fasten your seatbelts for another Naughty Dog creation.
As you can see, it keeps up pretty good. Very impressive. And we'll take it for a spin here. Dang.
Welcome to the Adventure Arena. You can travel around this area and practice.
Yeah, none of that. You see, everything moves along pretty well. At least I was any good at it. Do you remember when 3D was pretty much this bad? Yeah. Some way to boost off of this? I don't remember.
This is the load save screen. There are 5 of these screens, 1 in each world section. When you want to load or
Alright, you get the idea. And I also have a lesser challenging game here. Oh! Got to use a BIOS for that one, so that one might take a little bit of extra work. But again, W, and you're back. So this kind of gives you an idea of what's possible, right? And it's not just games. You can also use utilities. Like I use Explorer to get around my drives, right? So I go out to my drive and look at my ROM sets and work on that. So you can actually access a lot of things from in here. And again, poof, you're back. All right, well, some of the other things you can do is manage your account, handle controllers, networks. There's a few things you can do in the system, but not a whole lot. A lot of things. Oh, hey, that looks familiar. Things that, as you can see, I've got a Google account signed up in here, which you normally couldn't have done. So there are some pieces of the Android operating system you can get into. But for the most part, it works. It works pretty well. The unit's small for $100 with a controller. Having access to all this stuff is pretty impressive. There's plenty of things to play. There's plenty of things out here that you can, like I said, you could spend all day and all night grabbing stuff for free. Let's take a look at how this works. Let me grab something I'm familiar with. Let's see. Let's grab this. Right, so it brings it up. You download it. And this is nice. It'll queue it up. So you can see it's downloading right now. Now I could back up and go do something else if I so desired. But you can see even on the screen here, it's showing that it's downloading. Now it's done. And I can play. Oops, I backed out. What do you want from me? So there you go. Your Cabal fans will love it. But again, you notice I didn't have to pay anything for it yet. Later on, I might get tagged for something if I want to keep playing it, right? Dust. And again, the old W's, out you go. Alright. Alright, so what about some of this real high-end stuff, right? So this is showing all the stuff that's trending. So something in here is going to be pretty healthy, right? Let's see what this, I'm not familiar with this one. Alright, so this looks like your action-adventure RPG, right? So we'll go ahead and we'll download that. Now again, we're on Wi-Fi, so it might take a while. But again, we can go back and look around and do other stuff while we're waiting. So once again, for those of you who fast forwarded because you didn't want to wait, the secret here is 3 steps. Root my Ouya, exposed framework, installed, sideloaded, and run, and mod collection for Ouya. That gets you the store, that gets you all sorts of good stuff. And if you're wondering what the browser looks like, if you're wondering what the browser looks like, it's like a basic Android browser. Oh, look at that, it's logging me in. That was nice. So you can do basic stuff. I'm not sure exactly how you type stuff in, but anyway, you can use it, and you will use it at some point in time. All right, so now how do we find out how we're doing here? So can we go to the play screen? And there you go. You can see it's still downloading in the background right now. So then, let's say, for example, you can go in here and look at the details. I didn't mean to hit search. My bad. Oops. Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't know where all the buttons are yet. What can I tell you? Details. And from here, you can go ahead and remove it, say, because that only works with 2 players. I only have 1 controller, so off it goes. And it's gone. Pretty sweet. And we're still waiting for this to download so we can get more details on this. Maybe look at some more pictures. You can zoom in. That's nice. And of course you could cancel. Now a couple of things that you'll want to make note of. You will have to give them a credit card when you first load the thing up. Otherwise you're pretty much stuck. You won't be able to do anything. A lot of people, that freaks them out. So maybe get a temporary credit card or one of those other little goodies. But that's one of the first gotchas. What else can I tell you? On the back of the Ouya, you have access to 1 USB port. You have HDMI out. You have a micro USB plug. That's how you plug it in initially and side load the first couple of things you need to do. That does require a little bit of work. I'm not going to lie to you and say, hey, this thing's a piece of cake to hack. It took me a while, right? You're going to have to set up an Android, sort of an Android development environment. You're going to have to be able to talk to the Ouya on your PC. And then once you do your first side loading job of getting that one-click root on there, life is good and you kind of can go from there. How are we doing here? We're getting close. Now, I haven't seen this game, so I'd be just as surprised as you guys. Eventually, I'll be surprised. This Pizza Boy, by the way, was turned out to be a pretty decent little platformer. My son had seen it in the list and said, hey, that's pretty cool. Can we get that? And it's like, okay. So it's a free to play for a while, and then you will pay. So it's still updating. Notice it's pretty seamless, though. You're going, what's it doing? Well, it also has an install process sometimes, too. Neat, huh? Oops. No searching. Where did it go? Well, there's an interesting little glitch. Must be still installing. Well, while it's installing, I can show you Pizza Boy. You'll notice when things are installing or there's a lot of system activity going on, just like on a regular Android phone or tablet, you will see a performance hit. Again, this is a pretty cute platformer. 16-bit stylistic. Oops, music could be better. Alright. So there we go, most recent. Let's take a peek. The Unreal Engine.
The elders say that life was not always...
Yeah. Just let me into the game. Man, this does look pretty good. That's kind of nice. It's all Ouya specific. L2 to block. Nice. Well, there you go. See, it's approaching console quality, right? And again, now we go. All right. Well, listen. I hope you enjoyed this half hour or so look at the Ouya. Again, this one's been modified. Once again, for those in the cheap seats. First thing is you got to sideload root my Ouya, install the exposed framework, run the mod, get the mod collection sideloaded and run, and then you're ready to go and do what you need to do. All right, gang, I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, this is Shane R. Monroe, Review Lagoon Green Robot Gamer. Join us. I'm at Google+. Hope you enjoyed the video. We will see you next time. Take it easy.